Welcome to show 119. Yep. 119. Yep. It's going to be a real mosaic. Say there, folks. A Chris Kenner song from New Orleans. Oh, baby, what you gonna do? Oh, baby, what you gonna do? I'm sick and tired fooling around with you. I get up in the morning, fix you something to eat. Before I go to work, I even brush your teeth. I come back in the evening, you're still in bed. Got a rag tied round your head, oh baby. What you gonna do? I'm sick and tired fooling around with you. This is my last time telling you to change your way. Believe it or not, I mean what I say. This is the last time telling you stop that jive, or you gonna find yourself outside. Oh babe, what you gonna do? I'm sick and tired fooling around with you. This is my last time telling you to change your way. Believe it or not, I mean what I say. This is the last time telling you stop that job, or you gonna find you outside. Oh babe, what you gonna do? I'm sick and tired fooling around with you. Sick and tired fooling around with you. You know Honky Tonk by Bill Doggett? Starts like this. First time I ever heard this riff. And then he goes into a solo, which I can't do because I don't have an organ trio behind me. Honky Tonk, parts 1 and 2. A great song. Listen to it on YouTube right away. I'll tell you, that guitar solo is one of the things that got me playing the guitar. It's one of my favorite guitar solos. I can't remember the fellow's name right now, but he was a wonderful guitar player, jazz player. Played with Bill Doggett. Bill Doggett was an organ player, and he had, 10 or 20 albums, but all I know is the one song that really topped the charts. Everyone danced to Honky Tonk. You should hear it right away. Okay, now I'll put down the guitar. My audience, one of the things about what I do is I do so many kinds of stuff that you can't just say I do a type of stuff. Somebody, I can't remember who, they said, describe your music in one word. I said, unique. One of the problems with being compulsively expressive is that you let people into your brain, and if you have a brain that's anything like mine, it's a jungle in there. So you know, there's something good about just saying the things off the top of your head, and then there's something else about it too. Well, back in the 50s, the 1950s, that's a long time ago, isn't it? There was a comic called Weird Science. It was an EC, an educational comic. And Weird Science was a great magazine. And the genesis of this song is gonna make you change your ways. Don't you get stuck behind. Things happen fast nowadays. The world we know is just a phase, and everybody's in a rush. Weird science is trying to help us, but it don't know how to say enough is enough. Equations on the blackboard, experiments in the lab. The secret weapon was stolen. The young scientist ended up on a slab. That's right. Ugly makes you wanna run away. What we all turn into, only weird science can say. Mr. Pleasant, how is Mrs. Pleasant? I hope the world is treating you fine, and your head's in the air, and you're feeling so proud, 'cause you're such a success that the whole wide world is on your side. Hey, hey. Mr. Pleasant is good. did you hear? She was flirting around with another young man, and he's taking her out when you have to work late, and it's not so pleasant after all. Hey, hey. Well, that's Ray Davies of the Kinks. Here's a song I recorded. I recorded this because I wrote it. And I wrote it for a couple of reasons. It was pretty funny, actually. I gave away about 50 copies of an album, and I said, I'll give this to you. Just tell me what you think. How many people do you think got back to me and told me what they thought of it? Yes, that's how many. Anyway, I certainly learned something, and I tried to put some of that into this song, which I put on my next album. Another big seller. Don't you agree that a person's word should mean something? Don't you want to know who you can count on? Wishing for things that may never come true, and nobody ever gets back to you. Nobody ever gets back to you. Nobody ever gets back to you. We all get caught up in our lives. There's always too much to do. Don't take it personal when it's universal. Nobody ever gets back to you. Nobody ever gets back to you. Nobody if you know what they mean. If you lined up everyone who ever said they'd call you, and to end they might stretch around the world, everyone would be there, I would be there too. Nobody ever gets back to you. 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 Nobody ever gets back. Nobody ever gets back to you. Yes, there's a song in there somewhere. That's right. I think that song is still finding itself. But it's very interesting because, of course, it's wrong. Some people do get back to you. But I've found it to be the exception rather than the rule. We're going to switch it up a little here. I have a song to do for you, which is a wonderful spiritual gospel number. And basically the record has one chord, and the guy just strums one chord and everybody sings, and they're beautiful. It's a wonderful group. Bill Lanford and the Lanfordaires did this. If you know the song, it's more likely that you know it because Moby sampled it on his biggest hit album, Play. But it's from Bill Lanford and the Lanfordaires. I'm now going to move the mic and it's going to sound like it. And now we have this other camera down there. Isn't that great? You never know what you're going to see on this show. Okay. It's in B. We Will Rock You. You might run on for a long time. Run on, ducking and dodging. Run on, children, for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. You might run on for a long time. Run on, ducking and dodging. Run on, children, for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. Great God Almighty, let me tell the news. My head got wet in midnight dew. Great God, I've been down on bended knee, talking to the man from Galilee. My God spoke, and it sounds so sweet. I thought I heard the shuffle of angels' feet. He put one hand upon my head. Great God Almighty, let me tell you what he said. Go tell that lonesome rider. Go tell that midnight rider. Tell the gambling, rambling backslider. Tell him God Almighty gonna cut him down. I might run on for a long time. Run on, ducking and dodging. I run on, children, for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. You might run on for a long time. I run on, ducking and dodging. Run on, children, for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. Some people go to church just a signify, trying to make a date with their neighbor's wife. Brother, let me tell you, just as sure as you're born, you better leave that woman alone, because one of these days, you mark my word, you think that brother has gone to work. You go up and you knock on his door. That's all, brother, you will knock no more. You might run on for a long time. Run on, ducking and dodging, run on, children, for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. You might run on for a long time. Run on, ducking and dodging, run on, children, for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. We'll try keeping rolling. Okay, this, folks, is the Animals 1977 reunion album. Yes, a wonderful album that I am going to do a song from. I dedicate it to Frank Delamore, the biggest Animals fan I know. My friend Frank. It is a Lieber and Stoller song that they wrote with Johnny Otis, which probably means it was in the 50s. But this was recorded in 1977. Some people say it was cocaine, some say it was gin, but I know the name of the S.O.B. who did my brother in. They put the last clean shirt on my poor brother Bill. Oh, they put the last clean shirt on my poor brother Bill. Oh, well, they found him in the backseat of an old abandoned Ford, and when I touched the hand of my brother Bill, it was stiff as a running board. They put the last clean shirt on my poor brother Bill. They put the last clean shirt on my poor brother Bill. The preacher said he's gone now, gone to a better world. He done fought his last fight and he loved his last girl. They put the last clean shirt on my poor brother Bill. Well, they put the last clean shirt on my poor brother Bill. Last clean shirt. Thank you. Thank you very much. And have a great day. And may your flowers bloom and the spring be beautiful. If it's already summer, stay cool. Bye, kids. We're working with a tape that told us it was empty. It said, no, that's it. Can't record anymore. It's done. Then, thank you so much for watching show 119. Yep, show 120 next week. We got some new music for you. Only one new song today, you probably noticed. You may have noticed. You may not have noticed. This may be the first second that you've tuned in to this show, and you don't know what I'm talking about. But thank you so much for watching 119, those of you who did. And we'll be back. The whole studio and I speak on behalf of the studio. We will be back from Colchester, Vermont next week with show 120. And thank you very much. And have a great day. And may your flowers bloom and the spring be beautiful. If it's already summer, stay cool. Elvis has left the building, and so have I. Well, that reminds me of a long story. We don't know if we got 5 seconds left or 5 minutes left.